Hey tribe, how are you? Today I felt really called to talk about the body love bonus lesson. I know that a good chunk of us have body image slash food challenges, issues. I want to just go back and explain some of that transformational process from within myself as far as making the connection between my own stressful emotional patterns and the heaviness, the weight that I was carrying. If some of you don't know my body transformation, if I go back to like really early adolescence, I became a sort of vegan veggie when I was about 11, 12, and I joined a professional dance company. And as a child, I remember like shortly after my parents' divorce, putting weight on. Mom was a single mom. There was stress in the family. We were eating a lot of takeaway, and I just started to feel chubby and like unwell in my body. I didn't like who I was. As a 10-year-old or 8-year-old girl, I didn't look like the girls on TV or the girls in magazines, and I interpreted that as I'm wrong and I'm bad. So I carried that. And then when I turned vegetarian, I almost started this sort of manifestation stuff because I really intended to be thin. I intended to look a certain way, and eventually I did. And when I manifested that body as a 12 or 13-year-old girl, everyone around me started to freak out and judge and, what's wrong with you? And the thing is, I really loved myself then, but a lot of the judgment and reactions around me created more trauma. So then what I recognized is I actually took on other people's fears, judgments, body image stuff as my own, which is kind of what we do. We absorb and exchange information continuously. And what happened was as I got my period and went through puberty, I was already so like messed up around who I was, who I could be, what was possible for me, blah, 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 that like even just growing boobs, I freaked out. I was so frightened of my body changing. And then that's when ultimately the anorexia, the bulimia, the depression, and all of that. And really that is like the, early child trauma, absorption from parenting, social conditioning and environment, our own karma, and our own kind of ancestral and genetic coding and karmic imprinting. All of that is contained within the karmic backlog. So for me, that point of hitting my 30s, being broke, homeless, friendless, manless, jobless, all this kind of, not jobless, but like hitting rock bottom once again in my life, and the body stuff, I was bigger than ever. I was almost a size 14. And it doesn't matter the sizes, guys. Don't ever I think that one size is better than that. That's never in the case. In fact, really truly, my thing was always that I find people beautiful. Like I find all humans beautiful in their form, but each one of us as a unique vessel, we do know who we are. We do know what we're meant to look like. And sometimes in this world, looking how we want to look can trigger people, can provoke reactions in people. People can judge us. And as empaths, they might not vocalize the judgment, but the energy will put it out there. We can still pick up on the energy. So this stuff is so paradoxical. It's so like, like it's this weird paradox of like, we wear extra weight. So we carry extra weight, not only because we're afraid of, getting fat. But often we think, oh no, I'm so scared of getting fat, or I'm so scared of da da. But often it's like, it's part of both. That one, yeah, we're afraid of being unhealthy, and we don't like how we look. But randomly, the flip side is actually like, I'm afraid of shining. I'm afraid of being powerful. I'm afraid of showing up how I want to show up, because then we have to deal with a whole other kettle of fish. It's like often around adolescence and around, puberty. A lot of women, probably men too, but I'm only going to speak for women. Around puberty, we often have a lot of sexual trauma. Our fathers might change around us suddenly. As in, so like suddenly dad doesn't want to give us a hug, or dad doesn't really want to talk to us the same way. And little girls interpret that like, oh, me becoming a woman, I've done something wrong. I've done something bad. So I must protect myself, right? Sexual trauma, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, that can all begin around adolescence because we become women, and typically all this sex stuff and all this desire stuff is totally denied. So we embody trauma. And let's just all say, okay, we probably have a little bits of here, little bits of there. Now, the reason I really want to talk about the body love stuff is that it does absolutely work, but it's more diligent than what most of us are used to, because we've been taught that if you just exercise and if you eat right, then it's all going to work out. After 20 years, so basically from like age 8 to 30, so over 20 years to 31 even, I just hated myself. And I kind of always thought, yeah, love and acceptance. Yeah, love and acceptance. But I'm always going to sort of just hate myself a little bit. And the deeper I went, the more I just thought, no, like I can't live like this. If I'm just gonna have to accept that I'm just a little bit not that happy in my body, like that sucks. That's not divine. That's not grace. That's not fucking liberation at all. That's limited human mind construct. So my point of like, once I hit 30, once I was like, screw this shit. I want to make money. I want to live well. I want to feel fucking amazing and beautiful in my body. It all started to change and shift. And that's where I started to realize the depth of my own self-hatred, the depth of my own self-loathing. And it was cyclical, and it took years. So we might think, oh yeah, lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks or whatever. Well, I did shift. So I've gone from like 12 to 14 to 6 to 8, which is where I visioned myself. But it took the best part of 4 or 5 years for the body transformation to be visual in my vision. So for years beforehand, I just kept reprogramming my mind. Every time I looked at myself in the mirror, it was like, I love you and I'm not here to judge you. I love you and I'm not here to judge you, because I had to reprogram the self-loathing. I had to reprogram the fact that really for me, most of the time I look in the mirror and like cringe and just be like, oh my God, I hate myself, or I'd like burn up with rage. So I took months and years to just, every time I looked in the mirror, be like, okay, I love you and I'm not here to judge you. And I love you and I'm not here to judge you. And I'd had ebbs and flows, but I really wasn't going to control my diet and I wasn't going to control my exercise. If anything, I had to rest. There is an element, if we're not well in our bodies, if we're holding a whole bunch of stress around our fat and around our food, we're fucking tired. And from a pretty young age, women are taught, and men probably, to carry the burden, that it is a big deal. That if you are fat and ugly, you're going to fail at life, or you're never going to find love, or you're never going to, and so those are fucking harsh imprints for us. And I meet people of all shapes and sizes and all classes and backgrounds, and this is such a huge thing. Like, instead of being active members in our society, instead of being vocal members in our world, way too many women are using their mental energy to stress about food and to stress about their bodies. And intelligent women, and just any women, typically, they know it's insane. They're thinking, I've got a great family and I've got a great home and I've got all these things going on, and my fucking energy is spent just obsessing about food and obsessing about an extra inch on my fucking abdomen. So once we start to really shine the light, look at the insanity, shine the light, look at the craze, shine the light on it, and then be diligent. This is where I'm saying, guys, like, go to the mind battle in step 7. Go to fearless love. These things, or diligence or discipline. It's like this inner work requires focus. And ultimately, any time that we think we have to change something out there, it is an illusion of our own creation that makes us feel powerful and like, oh yes, I'm in dominion of this world around me. Yeah. That's the big leap that we're taking. We are taking a fucking huge global shift from thinking that us humans are separate from the world and we can just do whatever we want. We're fantastic. Yeah, whatever. Let's just beat up and slaughter and repress and oppress, and let's just dominate and rape the planet. So now we humans, totally here in service to the planet and to the whole, we are awakening our heart center to remember who we are so that we can shine the light of expression, divine expression or Christ expression out into the world. And the biggest head mess is like it doesn't look like anything. Male yoga teachers are no better or worse than female yoga teachers, and female politicians are no better than worse than male politicians. Really, 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 the whole idea of a divide or anything like that is just another thing that can divide us and make us think that the world is separate from us. True healing, true compassion comes from an acknowledgement that the source is you. Whatever you see is your own projection. It's just how it is. Here's the thing, you guys, as well. When we're in conscious relationship, there is really no difference between our own projection and someone's projection and what we're acting out. Oftentimes if we're in relation, we're going to act out that other person's projection, which is why sometimes we walk away from a situation and think, oh, why did I just do that? So if we're going to hang out with people that perpetually want to fix us on this size or that size, or perpetually want us to be like, well, you're just never going to shift the weight, are you? Or, oh, well, you're just too skinny. You're never going to put weight on. If you're going to surround yourself with people who obsess about it, who worry about it, who think they're ugly, who think that, just be mindful. These type of people might not want you to break free. And I know this stuff, it sounds so ridiculous and maybe it sounds so harsh, but it's true. I've worked with clients. I have worked with clients that once they shift it, once they start to drop the weight, once they start to exude more joyful essence and more happiness, they have friends who walk away from them. Literally. Like they have friends who don't want to talk to them. And then like another friend will be like, well, yeah, it's because you lost weight. So-and-so could be the only skinny person in that group. This is like people actually operate this. So just allow yourself the liberation to just be whoever you want to be. Let yourself step into who you desire to be. Let yourself think whatever you want to think about yourself, because that is your liberation. It is your choice. If you want to love your body and be free in your body, then choose to be free in your body. But it means that you get to eat whatever you want. And here's the thing, you guys, like in the truth, when you're in alignment with yourself, it's not like you necessarily eat healthy, but your body does know. So there are days where I'm like, I'm wanting to eat lots and lots and lots. And then there's other days where maybe not so much. But I don't have to physically control it in relationship to the being the form that I desire to be. Just like when we're little. We don't obsess about food and exercise when we're little. And yet most little people are naturally well because they play and they're in the flow. And there's an expression about like we inhabit the body. Inhabiting your body versus controlling it. Your body isn't like something to micromanage. You can see how that is a separation of consciousness. That if you perceive your body that you have to micromanage it, manage it, it's like, but you are it. Why do you have to manage it or anything outside of you? How messed up is that, right? So the more we can actually relax and be with ourselves, the more we can actually like find ways of moving that we love and find ways of moving that are enjoyable. If we can find ways of eating that are enjoyable and guilt-free, whether you're having a cake or having a apple, whether you're having a salad or whether you're having a chippy, can you just eat what you want to eat guilt-free and not punish yourself with food? Could you learn how to actually love yourself and embrace yourself, even when you have too much, even when you fill yourself up? Like, can you just be like, oh, I'm so lucky to have all this food and I'm so lucky to be so full and I'm so lucky and I'm so lucky and I love my body and I love that my body knows how to process everything perfectly. I love that my body knows how to digest not just food, but life experiences to help me keep moving and flowing and opening up to more so I can be even more radiant and more healthy and more of a shining example of my truth, of my divinity, of my light. And then when we shine that, it becomes an example for other people. So you guys, I just want to remind you about the private messaging and private stuff. Really, really happy to throw a little nugget out there. But sometimes it feels like there's like a little bit of a flow of less engagement on the tribe and more engagement through private messaging. And I'm having to just sort of make things create clarity for you guys as far as I will not be responding to private messages anymore on Messenger. Because some of the messages are directed toward aspects to me that are private sessions. And or just loving it, love the engagement, but don't have time. And I need you, I just want you guys to know that it's not because I don't love you, and it's not because I don't want to engage, but I'm my focus is becoming like which is beautiful and awesome, and it's flow and it's an alignment. It just doesn't give me much extra chit chat time, if you know what I mean. So I hope that was useful to you guys. Don't forget your anointment by oil. Don't forget your breathing and your meditation. Don't forget to practice just the simplicity of gratitude and appreciation for your own body, for your own heart, for your own mind, for your own lungs, you know? So, guys, love your body, because your body is you. Your body is your first point of call for your expressiveness, for your expression on this planet. So if you don't love everybody you, then the world that you see won't love everybody you back, not yet. So keep loving you until you're seeing that loving expression back at you, and then that will have a knock-on effect in every part of your world. Love you guys. Have a great day. Peace out.